More trouble for the left-wing group ACORN. Republicans on the House Oversight Committee are now calling for a criminal investigation into this group, which does, among other things, voter registration during election time. Releasing, these Republicans are, a new report today saying ACORN's business is, in fact, an ongoing criminal enterprise guilty of fraud. Here is an excerpt from the report that we have gotten just ahead of the release. Quote, ACORN accepts federal grant funds, yet fails to comply with IRS laws and routinely employs convicted felons. ACORN is responsible for Project Votes, that's an affiliated group to ACORN, fraudulent registrations, because ACORN authorizes the selection of members engaged in voter registration. And it goes on from there. They talk about how ACORN has provided contributions of money and resources to everyone from disgraced Illinois Governor, former Rod Blagojevich, to now President Obama when he was running for office, and talking about how they are using money that they've been given by the government that's not supposed to be used for political purposes for that purpose. That's a no-no. That's illegal, simply put. In the meantime, we are joined right now by one of the lawmakers behind this report. He is Congressman Steve King, and he's been all over the ACORN issue from the beginning. He's been on this show talking about the group. Congressman, good morning to you. This is big. This group, calling for this group to be criminally investigated by the Department of Justice now, and you want hearings in the House to investigate just how much of our taxpayer money has gone to these efforts. You're saying that our money, that you've got proof our money was used for ACORN's political causes?
Megan, that's what I understand the report says. And the full report, I've only had the opportunity to review some of the executive summary. This has been driven by the ranking member of the Government Reform Committee, Darrell Issa. This is a factual report, and it's a bipartisan report, and it brings out the things, many of them that I've been talking about for a long time. We know that money is fungible, and once you put it into a pot, then it can go about anywhere. And it appears that ACORN has systematically been transferring funds and creating a paper shield to protect their activities. Some of them clearly appear to be illegal, and some of them are simply unethical, but they're a partisan organization. They're designed to turn out the Democrat vote. By the way, I went down to ACORN's headquarters and took a picture of their headquarters, and you may have that, but there's a large Obama poster in the window of the headquarters of ACORN at 2609 Canal Street in New Orleans, and outside flies an ACORN flag. A partisan organization funded by millions of American taxpayers' dollars, and now they have access to about $8.5 billion, but this report lays the foundation that I think may embarrass the administration into doing an investigation.
They've gotten $53 million in federal funds since 1994. $53 million. Now, I want to just get this straight, Congressman, because ACORN, you've got the supposedly nonpartisan non-profit organization that helps people with their, get low-interest mortgages and so on and so forth. And then there is a wing of ACORN that is openly partisan. Is there not that? And they're allowed to do what they want. If they want to support President Obama, they can. They just cannot use the taxpayer dollars that were supposed to go to help the non-partisan, non-profit organization for that second organization, which is partisan. Is that pretty much the way it works?
Megan, it is so utterly complicated. I don't know if it actually could be explained in an hour program even, but we have filed amendments to strike funding going to at least 174 affiliated corporations that ACORN has formed. Many of their boards of directors are copy and paste the same people, the same address. The letterhead is the same. They just use a little word processor to change the language. That's part of what's going on here. So it really can't be tracked very well, but this report does track some of it. And there was almost $1 million of embezzlement that was embezzled by the brother of the founder of ACORN. They covered that up for 8 years, and then they used donors' funds to pay off the embezzlement. So and then there's also tax fraud involved in this and electioneering. I have offered amendment after amendment to strike funding to ACORN. And before the Small Business Committee, the chair of the Small Business Committee, Nadia Velasquez, was angry, and she argued that I should not have brought a partisan amendment to the Small Business Committee alleging that striking funding to ACORN is partisan. I think that's an admission And just last night, another amendment to strike funding in ACORN was shot down by the Rules Committee. This Pelosi Congress is not going to allow even a vote on blocking funding to ACORN. They can't face the vote. They can't face the embarrassment. And when I offered the first one on June 17th, it shut this Congress down for a full day before they could figure out how to circumvent the rules.
Who specifically, Congressman, if viewers want to call their congressman or someone specific to say, we want you to look into this before another dollar of taxpayer money goes to this group, who specifically do they need to contact?
Well, if he will listen, it would be the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, John Conyers, who, having heard a hearing that put forth some evidence on the corruption of ACORN, voiced his interest in holding hearings and doing an investigation. Since that time, John Conyers said, well, the powers that be say there will not be an investigation.
Right, he was inclined to do it. Right? He was inclined to do it, and then the Democratic leadership cracked down on him, and he said, on second thought, I guess we can't.
That's the interpretation. So if the pressure gets turned up, the American people are going to have to demand that their tax dollars not be used for corruption or election fraud. This undermines our very Constitution, Megan. If we lose the credibility of our election process, all of the rest of it doesn't matter. We turn into a banana republic if we cannot have the integrity of our election system. That's the most important thing, and ACORN is using fungible funds by the tens of millions of dollars to corrupt the election process. They have admitted to over 400,000 fraudulent election forms, and then they say, well, that didn't necessarily translate into fraudulent votes. Well, then why would you invest that kind of money hiring people to corrupt our process if you didn't intend to corrupt the process?
No, they have come out and said that this is a recycled and repackaged partisan attack job on ACORN's good work, and I guess for now they're leaving it at that. We'll wait to see whether the Department of Justice responds to your calls for a criminal investigation or whether anybody in the House, including John Conyers, responds to your message today or the messages he is very likely to receive from the viewers who watch this program. Congressman, thank you so much for coming on.
Megan, this is a nonpartisan committee report. Thank you.
Steve King, all the best.
A nonpartisan committee report.
Got it.
Fox News alert now, and this is a big deal. The world's largest shipping carrier takes a huge